I'm the table topics evaluator. Let's start with Yevgeny. Yevgeny had some very interesting questions, and he asked people to personify certain objects. And that was a very interesting idea. Let's begin with some criticisms. First, Yevgeny, you like to stand here like this, and you love clutching your hands. So you should be more expansive and open in your posture. Second, you were standing here, which is very distracting. It would be much better if you planned ahead and sat down so that you're not distracting the audience. And so that the people in table topics don't end up speaking to you. Because if you're standing up, a lot of times you attract their attention instead of speaking to the group. Some positive things that you did, you explained the rules, you let everybody know, and you invited Victor Pursov first, and he's one of our most veteran speakers. So he knows what to do, and he gives a good example to the audience. So it was excellent, good choice to invite him here. Next, Victor. Victor can talk for an hour on any topic at any time. So it's not a problem to call on Victor. Victor doesn't even need a subject. So it's no problem. Victor did a good job as usual. Next up, we had Lillian. Where's Lillian? Aha, Lillian. Lillian, this is an opportunity. You come to Toastmasters. The only way to get over your shyness is to stand here and be here and be happy to come. And I encourage you, when you're called in table topics, come up and stand. Come up and try, because you're never going to get over your fear of being in front of a group until you really do it. So the next thing I want to say is that we really should follow parliamentary procedure. And parliamentary procedure means we don't interrupt during speakers. Sometimes it's okay, but this girl was just getting started and just starting to do her speech when she got interrupted and got completely off her train of thought. So I think it would have been much nicer if we just let her speak, and just with some encouragement from the table topics masters. The other thing that you did is that you clutched your hands here, and that shows that you're nervous and you want to be more open and more expansive. Next, Ollie. Which one? Which one is Ollie? Yes, right back here. Okay. So, one thing after this young lady, everybody loves to be behind the podium. I don't know if it's protection or what, but the idea is you can use this whole stage. You can use the whole space. Talk to the audience. Some people are talking to the ceiling. Some people are talking to the table topics master. You can speak to them. You can use the whole space. You can have contact with everybody in the room. And that's the best way to do your speeches. So I thought your speech was very humorous. People really liked it. And so it was good and spontaneous. Dennis hid behind the podium, and not only that, put his hands in his pocket. So, Dennis, it would be really good to come out from behind the podium. Don't be afraid, and you can take your hands out of your pocket and use them. They're very useful tools. Now, the next person, did I catch the name right? Danilo? Yes. Yeah. You spoke well, and I thought you had a good. You followed it well. You even had to get some advice from the table topics master, but you joined in, you became the piano very effectively and talked about being the piano, which is good. The only thing that I would ask or would remind you is that you're clutching your hands. Okay, Timur. Timur is very experienced. I think as the table topics master, it would have been nice to invite Timur a little earlier. We want to have the veteran speakers, the people who speak well, early in the table topic session so that people can see what they can do and they can learn from them. So I have really only positive comments to say about Timur. Timur is very experienced and knows what he's doing. The only thing that I would say is that at the end of your speech, you said, "That's it." And a good speaker, a very experienced speaker, should let the audience know that they're at the end without having to tell them. So just something for you to practice on. Next one, the lady in red. Tanya, yes? Yes. You really like the ceiling. I was looking at there. It's a really nice ceiling. And she spent a lot of time looking at the ceiling. So don't be afraid of these people. You know, one of the things about Toastmasters is everybody wants you to succeed. We all want you to do well. Everybody in the room wants you to do well. They really encourage you and they're rooting for you. They're your fans. So we're very supportive and we're all positively interested in your improvement. So we want to help you. So don't be afraid of us. And you leaned on the podium also. You're probably uncomfortable standing on your own. You needed a friend. So you clutched the podium. You don't need to do that. And finally, Sasedka. I don't know what your name is.
It's not the name.
I know. Neighbor. Annette, yes? Okay. Good. You put your hands on the podium and you looked a lot at the ceiling when you were speaking. Don't be afraid. It's okay to talk to everybody, to look at everybody in the room, to have positive connections, even with the person who's sitting behind you. All right. Madam Tabletop.